It's Tuesday, September 1, and next week this time, you, the students watching, would have been settled in after your second day of school. So, as you anticipate a new academic term, we just want to make sure that everything is set. That's our focus in today's Jamaica magazine, Back to School Readiness. Inside our pages, the Ministry of Education updates us on its readiness for the 2015-2016 school year. Plus,
all up the middle in September morning come.
All this and so much more unfolds shortly. But first, this message.
Be an active participant in your child's life. Spend time with your child. No phones, no television, no distractions. Just the two of you. Get to know your child through play. Why not go to the park and get on the monkey bars? Sharing a meal can also be a time of bonding. If your child's in school, be involved in school activities. Speak with your child's teacher. Follow up on their progress in school and see how you can help. Assist them with homework. Attend parent-teacher meetings and support school fundraising events. Remember, your child's future is in your hands. Safeguard it.
So glad you are a child of mine.
Good day, I'm Andrea Chisholm and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, September 1. Government has issued 47 contracts valuing $3.8 billion to buy and supply pharmaceuticals for public health facilities over the next 2 years. This will ensure that over 700 items on the Ministry of Health's Vital, Essential and Necessary VEN list will be available to people using public health facilities. Those using the National Health Fund's DrugServe pharmacies will also have access to the items. Health Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson says government has doubled the pharmaceutical budget to ensure easy access to the items.
We will therefore considerably improve access to pharmaceuticals in the public health sector and should see an even greater improvement in the next 2 years covered by the contract.
The withholding tax on specified services took effect today, September 1. Under the new regime, 3% withholding tax will be applied to invoices valuing $50,000 or more on specified services. For example, services in accounting, catering, consultancy, engineering, and entertainment. Those allowed to withhold the tax on behalf of the government include financial institutions regulated by the Bank of Jamaica and the Financial Services Commission. It also applies to utility and cable companies with gross revenues exceeding $500 million, statutory bodies, and ministries, departments, and agencies of government. Withholding tax is an amount deducted from employees' wages or the invoice for services provided. That amount is then paid over to the government. The withholding tax on specified services was originally scheduled to take effect on June 1 this year, but was pushed back to facilitate more discussions with stakeholders. Amidst the ongoing drought, government is actively pursuing a plan to ensure that Jamaica has a sustainable water supply system.
I have already gone to the cabinet with the appropriate team, and very shortly we'll make public announcements as to the future of water and how we'll treat it, bearing in mind that the projections going forward is that things will get worse, not better.
The Water Minister made the announcement at a recent climate change consultation. It was geared at increasing awareness on climate change issues and to prepare for the 21st UN Conference on Climate Change later this year in Paris, France. The consultation was held under the theme Natural Disasters, Water, Drought, Food, Decision Time on Climate Change. The Education Ministry is moving swiftly to establish more diagnostic centers for children with special needs. Part of this will be facilitated through the Voluntary Organization for the Upliftment of Children Vouch program.
We have now, in conjunction with the Teachers Association, reformed and reopened the Vouch Center over on West Race Course, particularly for the diagnosis of exceptionalities in the early childhood cohort. And a similar facility is also going to be opened in Western Jamaica in Savannah Lamar. We hope by January of 2016.
The Education Minister was speaking recently at the launch of the Maya Chung Autism and Disability Foundation Scholarship Fund. The fund will provide financial assistance to autistic children at any level of the education system. And finally, wards at the Mount Olivet Boys Home are better prepared to start the new school year following the annual back-to-school treat hosted by the Jamaica Information Service. JIS visited the home on Saturday to help with the painting of rooms and ironing of uniforms. The boys also received food items from Lasca distributors, $10,000 from Tasty, 100 chickens and chicken feed from Hypro Farms, and bags, uniforms and bottled water from Johan Blake's Why Be Afraid Foundation. Acting Director of the home, Rudolph Brown, gave JIS a certificate of appreciation.
All of what we have received today from the different sponsors, we know that the JIS committee went out, made the different contacts, and here today we have things in abundance.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Thank you for watching.
Some marina, you know. Yeah?
Yeah, man, I have the package 6 for 1,000.
6,000.
Yeah.
How much I want?
Yeah, man, 2 bays I want.
Yeah, man, no one else.
$5,000.
Yeah, man. Alright,
What one, cat?
you don't know, I sit downtown the other day there.
Oh.
I want to come in them man, we buy and sell marina. One of them I sell a 6-pack for $1,000 and the next one I sell one for $200.
So where buy?
Buy 5 of them for $1,000. Think them can't rob me.
So Uncle Fancy is the same $1,000 you would spend to get the 6? Seriously?
Tell them again now my math brains.
Math count.
Math count.
Sponsored by the Ministry of Education.
Monday, September 7 is the official start of the 2015-2016 academic year. And the word from the Ministry of Education is that everything's cool for back to school.
It's that time of year again. Schools will soon be reopened. Or, as Jamaicans love to say, your free paper bun. While parents and students are busy prepping, the Education Ministry is assuring that from their end, everything's cool for back to school.
All secondary schools' accounts have been funded with the first tranche of the tuition fees and maintenance grants. Primary schools have been funded with their first term grants. We are pleased this year to indicate that the maintenance grants for the schools have been increased by 10%. Under the National Textbook Loan Scheme and the Primary Textbook Program, the Ministry of Education will provide this year will spend over $800 million on textbooks. The delivery of books to schools has started and will be completed by September 14, 2015. The ministry's approach this year has been slightly modified for books at the primary level, where some of our principals will be directly asked to pick up some of those books from the regional offices, and this is to ensure that the books are placed into the hands of the principals themselves and not necessarily to someone who may not pass on the packages to the principal for distribution to our students. The Ministry of Education School Feeding Unit, in collaboration with the Nutrition Products Limited, will continue to provide funds for the school feeding program to schools directly. While lunch will be provided for other children, over 130,000 of our early childhood cohort will also be provided with breakfast. Nutrition Products, of course, will commence the production and delivery of snacks to schools for the first week of the new school year.
Regarding our construction program, several high schools were targeted with regards to expansion of classrooms and other amenities
The ministry will be procuring over 40,000 pieces of furniture for this year, and of course we will provide furniture for those schools that are in greatest need.
Our safety and security manuals have been reviewed, and those will be ready for distribution for the new school year. The ministry embarked on a special training of our deans of discipline. 109 deans were recently trained in the month of July, and they are ready for the new school year.
We have made arrangements with the National Water Commission to provide water to the schools which have tanks. I am informed that the Ministry of Education has an allotment for the purchase of tanks for those schools which are going to need them but do not now have water storage. And you should make sure that your school through the region is so noted so that we can try to do that within the limited time and the modest resources that we have.
So please feel free to contact our regional offices for any support that's required or any issues that you may have as it relates to the preparation for the new school year. We do look forward to an excellent school year, perhaps the best ever, and we call on the rest of Jamaica to support us in this regard.
I wonder where Chantal is. You know me can't find him for wait. I know when they know. Watch me her name. Hey Chantal, where you watch? GIS.
No most you know say that the program are the best.
Them always the places where you have progress. I'm made of them there. Don't me now forget.
I most Manchester's finest.
Hey, hide your remote, not change the station. Cause we soon come back with more information from the school and the station where you're number one, from the school and the program where you're number one.
Fever, rash, joint pain and red eyes. All common signs of the Zika virus or ZIKV. Symptoms are usually mild, lasting anywhere from a few days to a week. Jamaica has no Zika cases, but if it gets here, it would only be transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Don't give Zika a chance. Prevent the breeding of these pesky mosquitoes.
The use of oil, cooking oil, a little tip of cooking oil poured on the surface of the water suffocates the larvae and prevents them hatching out. So persons can do that.
Do you remember the first time starting a new school? If you were like me, you were probably both nervous and excited to be in a new environment and anxious about making new friends. So what kind of advice would you give to those students who will be starting new schools come next week?
Let students them to focus more on them book, you know, because education is the key.
Try to prepare themselves for the new school year and try to do their best. Study hard. Don't wait until the last moment.
Best advice I can give them, less crime, don't follow up the crime, and behave themselves in a school, and just appropriate like you're going to school.
Gather what them can gather, and so that when them leave school, them can be them own boss.
Just behave themselves and study. Be on the right track. Don't follow peer pressure, because a lot of students, because of peer pressure, they do a lot of things.
Just be focused and just know that it's a go hard. And just remember say you want something out of life, and if you don't want nothing, but just remember say just keep focused. Just remember say in the day, if you don't get education, you can't go to college and you can't make something of yourself.
To stay focused, right? Knowing that the time that we are living in, and with all of these different kind of environment and so, I just encourage them to just stay focused and they can achieve what they cut out to be.
My advice to them for all up them head, and when them left school, don't go in a park and go hike and go walk up and down with other children and give beer trouble into downtown, sitting down with 3-4 boys in the park, kissing up and those type of things.
A open mind, and ensure you don't follow anybody,
you know, and do your own thing, be your own person, and just try to learn.
It's important to store water during periods of drought. It's even more important to ensure that the water is safe. Boiling and treating your water with bleach are two of the best ways to purify water. If you choose the boiling method, allow the water to boil for 5 minutes, cover and let it cool. Store boiled water in a clean airtight container and use something with a handle to take out the water when needed. If you use bleach to make your water safe for drinking, use 2 drops of bleach to a liter of water, 8 drops for a gallon, and ½ teaspoon of bleach for 5 gallons of water. Shake well and leave for half an hour before use. Water is essential to a healthy life, so ensure yours is clean and safe for consumption.
Effective this month, 18 schools with small and declining populations will be closed by the Education Ministry. It's in a move to improve efficiency and ensure students are in the best learning environment.
Effective September 2015, 18 schools with small populations will be closed by the Ministry of Education. The numbers of students at these schools range from a low of 16 students to a maximum of 68 students. Now, if you notice, in Region 1, 4 schools will be closed. In Region 2, 5 schools. Region 3 has 5 as well. Region 4, 1. Region 5, 2. And Region 6, 1. Prior to this decision, there were extensive public consultations with stakeholders, including parents, the Jamaica Teachers Association, churches, community leaders, and political representatives. This move is intended to achieve greater levels of efficiency in the school system.
These institutions affected this year are among more than 200 of the 800 public primary schools offering that level of education, and including all-age and junior high schools, over 200 of which are underutilized with enrollment of 100 students or less. And in all the cases, enrollment has declined steadily during a 5-year period. It's not just a once-off thing. It's a gradual reduction of student population over the years 2010 to 2014.
Additionally, in some communities where the schools are located, the population has been declining and getting increasingly older as more young people leave. The declining population has negatively impacted the operational cost for the affected schools.
The average cost for a unit per capita of primary education is approximately 88,000, closer now to 90,000. And in many of these small schools, it's costing up to twice as much, and in some cases 5 times as much, in order to offer the same service.
Therefore, the projected annual savings from the planned school closure is $23 million in operational costs.
In all of the 18 schools targeted for closure, they have performed below or certainly not above the national average in the 2014 Grade 6 Achievement Test. This academic performance is despite the fact that the teacher-pupil ratio is less than 1 in 20 in most of the schools, and in some, the ratio is as low as 1 to 7, 1 teacher to 7 students.
Okay, so now you have an understanding as to the reasons for this decision. So I know the question on many of your minds is, what's next?
The students from these schools have been transferred to others where they can access a richer and more diverse learning experience. And in order to ensure a smooth transition on the ground, the Ministry of Education's regional staff will be working closely with the receiving schools. The Ministry of Education assures parents that where the relocation of students has resulted in transportation needs, we will contract transport operators to ensure their children can get to school and back home at low cost to them. And similarly, Mr. Speaker, where children are prejudiced from having a meal at home, where many of them live close to the school that is being affected, provision will be made for them to have a lunch at the school where they go to now. So we are ensuring that there is no prejudice to the students.
As for the permanent staff at the affected schools,
no permanent staff at the school, at any school to be affected, is likely to lose their job, and necessary consultations have been engaged for the relocation of teachers, and some have opted for early retirement.
As for the institutions themselves, the Education Ministry will decide on the options available for them in keeping with government regulations. One such example is the Alps Primary and Infant School in Southern Trelawney, which will be transformed into an agriculture training institute. We understand that the transition process for those affected may not be completely perfect, and this is why the ministry is inviting all relevant hands on deck to assist in this process.
The team from the Ministry of Education has been very responsive to all the concerns raised. However, in the final analysis, we have to make a decision in the interest of student achievement and the efficient use of financial resources. We encourage parents and school personnel to assist the students as they go through a period of change. We're confident that this can be a positive move for the children in attaining their education.
Let's face the fact, the school environment can be tough, from dealing with bullying to peer pressure and other ills. Get some good advice next on dealing with these issues and more.
Yo, what going?
I'm fine enough.
You alright?
Yeah.
So what you want to talk about now?
You know, some I go high school this year, and the bullying thing. I want to know how to prevent myself from being attacked by bullies.
Best thing to do is like go to a teacher first, and report it, because it's not good. Violence is not good. It don't make sense to fight them, because you're just putting yourself in deeper trouble.
They should report it to their parents and to the guidance counselors, because it can affect their academic performance.
This is partly because the child being bullied will become fearful and may want to stay away from school. Recognizing that, the Ministry of Education has made it clear that no form of bullying will be tolerated in schools.
Is it true that you have more than one teacher for every subject?
Yeah, they come into your classroom at different times during the day. So you have different sessions for different subjects.
They should be aware that they will have to take responsibility for their own learning. They will have to be aware that nobody will be running behind them.
How do you manage your time for each subject?
Usually when I go home, I usually devote an hour to a subject.
As soon as the term starts, students should begin to read a lot, review their notes every day, study consistently, and they should make sure that the subjects that they are weakest at, they should spend much more time with those.
It cannot be all about academics though. Get involved in extracurricular activities, but do not allow them to take up all your time. And there's another issue that has to be addressed: respect. Being well-mannered is not a faux pas. It's very much the in thing, whether you're at the primary, secondary, or tertiary level.
There is also problems when they get low grades. Students quarrel a lot about low grades. Here again, I take them aside and talk to them. I show them why they couldn't get A's.
Then there's the issue of peer pressure. Choose your friends carefully. Hang around persons who will help you to make good decisions.
Don't follow bad company, it's just not right, because then you'd be brought down a lot. Some people don't want to see you get good grades and stuff.
So that means if I behave and study my books at high school, I will be okay?
Yeah, you'll get through high school pretty fine. So you're good now, that's all I wanted to know about high school and things.
Yeah, man.
Alright, you're good, man.
Here are a few additional reminders to help you make it through school, regardless of the level you're at. Take notes. Write down the important points that the teacher makes so you can refer to them at a later date. Ask questions. If something is not clear, ask the teacher to clarify. Study in advance. Don't cram everything the night before. Create a homework plan. This way you will pace yourself to complete assignments on time. Be careful of your friends. Learn to differentiate between those who mean well and those who don't. Don't idle after school. Get home as soon as possible. This way you will be better kept out of danger. Talk about your problems. If something is bothering you, ask a responsible adult for advice.
I would ask that teachers be more gentle with students now. They should be firm when they are correcting them, but they should do so without degrading them.
So this academic year can be a successful one. With the right attitude, hard work, and perseverance, you can achieve your fullest potential.
Question, when it's gonna be my time to shine, I gotta get what's mine. When it's gonna be a little shine for me. Lyrics and flow, I circle the city, because my full of versatility.
And with that profound message, we close today's pages. In the last-minute prep, try and get it done this week. Please share your feedback by emailing us at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm and keep in the know by clicking on our website, jis.gov.jm. Also, be sure to keep the link via Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm Adrian Atkinson, inviting you to tune in again tomorrow on this station for another edition of Jamaica Magazine.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.